Imagine waking tomorrow to a world with no clocks, no phones, and no glowing numbers anywhere. No alarm decides when you get up, and no screen tells you that you are late. For almost all of human history, this was simply normal, everyday life. People still woke, worked, met their friends, prayed, and slept right on time. But the time they followed was not a number on a clock at all. It was something they read directly off the sky and the world around them. The oldest clock humans ever used was simply the sun moving across the sky. When it rose, the day began, and when it set, the day was finished. When the sun sat highest overhead, everyone knew it was roughly the middle of the day. A stick pushed into the ground cast a shadow that swung like a slow hand. As the shadow shrank, the morning was passing, and as it stretched, evening was near. Most people did not count hours at all. They counted tasks instead. A job might take as long as it takes to milk the cows or to boil an egg. Time was not a ticking clock. It was simply the rhythm of things getting done. More than 3,000 years ago, the Egyptians turned that shadow into a real instrument. They built sundials and giant stone obelisks whose shadows marked the passing day. They split the daylight into 12 parts, and that is where our 12 hours began. But here is the strange part that surprises almost everyone who hears it. Those hours were not all the same length, the way our hours are today. In summer, the days were long, so each daytime hour was stretched longer too. In winter, the days were short, so each hour quietly shrank to match. An hour simply meant 1/12 of however much daylight there happened to be. So a summer hour and a winter hour were genuinely two different sizes. The idea of a fixed 60-minute hour was still thousands of years away. But the sun had one obvious problem. It disappears every single night. So people invented a clock that did not need the sky at all, water. A water clock let liquid drip slowly from one marked vessel down into another. As the water level fell or rose, you could read how much time had passed. Egypt, Babylon, Greece, and China all built their own versions of it. In ancient Athens, water clocks even timed how long a speaker could talk in court. When your water ran out, your turn was over, no matter what you were saying. For the very first time, people could measure the hours of the night as well. Time had quietly escaped from the sun and could now be kept indoors. Others learned to measure time by watching things slowly burn away. A candle marked with lines showed the hours as its flame ate down the wax. In China, people burned sticks of incense to count out even minutes and hours. Some incense clocks even dropped a little weight to chime as the time passed. Later came the hourglass, with sand pouring steadily through a narrow neck. Sailors loved it because sand keeps falling evenly even on a rocking ship. Fire, water, and sand had all been turned into quiet, patient timekeepers. In medieval Europe, daily life was ruled not by clocks, but by bells. Monasteries rang their bells at fixed prayer times, from before dawn until nightfall. Whole towns woke, worked, and rested to the sound of those ringing bells. In fact, our word clock comes from an old word that simply meant bell. At night, when no dial could be read, people looked up at the stars. The slow turning of the constellations told watchmen how far the night had gone. And almost everywhere, the crowing of a rooster announced the coming dawn. For most people, that patchwork of sun, bells, and stars was more than enough. For thousands of years, the minute was barely a real thing anyone could measure. It was only in the 1600s that pendulum clocks made minutes truly precise. Even then, every town still kept its own local time, set by its own noon. Your village clock could sit several minutes apart from the one just down the road. It took the railways, centuries later, to force everyone onto a single shared time. Only then did the exact, synchronized minute become the water we all swim in. For nearly all of history, humans did not obey time. They simply read it off the world. We built the clock to serve us, and somewhere along the way, we began to serve it.